DNA and RNA are the two types of nucleic acids, a class of macromolecules in the cells, present in all prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. Both are essentially the polymers of nucleotides, and have immense role in the storage and expression of genetic information. In an organism, DNA and RNA allow the storage of genetic information for a long period of time without any changes in the genetic constitution of the organism. The presence of two categories of nucleotides also allows the decoding of genetic information during protein synthesis by the process of transcription and translation. In first part of this video, we will learn about the similarities present between DNA and RNA. Both DNA and RNA can act as genetic material. Both are polymers of nucleotides. Both DNA and RNA are linear structures with secondary and supersecondary arrangements. Both contain purines and pyrimidines. Both DNA and RNA contain pentose sugar. In DNA and RNA, the adjacent nucleotides are connected by 3,5-phosphodiester bonds. Both DNA and RNA absorb UV light at 260 nanometers. Both DNA and RNA contain hydrogen bonds. These are some common similarities between DNA and RNA. In second part of this video, we will learn about the differences present between DNA and RNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid while RNA is ribonucleic acid. Sugar molecule in DNA is deoxyribose. On the other hand, sugar molecule in RNA is ribose. Usually DNA is double-stranded structure, while RNA is single-stranded. DNA occurs as double helical conformation, while RNA occurs as irregularly folded structures. Helix geometry in DNA is B-form, while the helix geometry in RNA is A-form. DNA is a highly stable molecule, while stability of RNA is less. DNA acts as the carriers of genetic information, while RNA acts as the intermediate molecule between genetic material, DNA, and its expression molecules. In some viruses, the RNA also acts genetic materials. Nitrogen bases of DNA are adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine, while nitrogen bases of RNA are adenine, guanine, uracil and cytosine. Base pairing in DNA is adenine, thymine and guanine cytosine, while base pairing in RNA is adenine, uracil and guanine cytosine. In DNA, the number of purine is always equal to the number of pyrimidine, while in case of RNA, number of purine will never be equal to pyrimidine. DNA do not have the catalytic activity, while some RNA molecules shows the catalytic activity. Purine to pyrimidine ratio in DNA is always equal, while in RNA purine to pyrimidine ratio highly varies. DNA follows the Chargaff's rule, while RNA does not follow the Chargaff's rule. DNA very rarely contain unnatural or bases other than A, T, G, C, while some RNA contain unnatural bases. DNA is usually associated with histone proteins in eukaryotes, while RNA is not associated with histone proteins. DNA can interact with nucleoproteins to form chromatin and chromosomes, while RNA can interact with a variety of proteins, but it cannot form chromatin or chromosomes. DNA is located mainly in the nucleus. DNA is also present in cell organelles, such as mitochondria and chloroplast, while RNA is found in the nucleus, cytoplasm and cell organelles, such as mitochondria and chloroplasts. DNA has comparatively smaller groves and hence they are protected from enzymatic attacks, while RNA has comparatively larger grooves and hence they are highly vulnerable to the attack of hydrolytic enzymes. DNA is still in alkaline condition, because it lacks the hydroxyl group, at second position. While RNA is unstable at alkaline condition, due to the presence of hydroxyl group at second position. The hydroxyl group at second position is highly reactive. DNA is extremely sensitive to UV radiations, while RNA is comparatively resistant to UV radiations. The quantity of DNA is fixed in the cells, while the quantity of RNA is not fixed. It is highly variable in different states of cell cycle. DNA is comparatively long structures with high molecular weight. DNA contains millions of base pairs, while RNA is comparatively short structures, usually few to 15,000 nucleotides. Based on functions, only one type of DNA is found in all organisms, while different types of RNA is found in the cells, based on its functions. DNA cannot occur in the cytoplasm in free state, while RNA can occur in the cytoplasm in free state. That's all about the major differences present between the DNA and RNA. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel for more upcoming updates.